Go ahead. Let me get my mic. Hang on. There's a mic on my desk. Would you grab it? Ryan, would you go ahead?
Yep.
Just ask.
Coach, just overall first impressions, you got a quarterback that's returning. He's one of the top quarterbacks in college football, according to the Heisman voting and everything. How confident do you feel going in with number 4?
Very confident. You know, he's an extremely talented kid. I think more than anything, he's just a great person. You know, I've really enjoyed getting to know him, his family. Obviously, everybody knows the talent, you know, the explosiveness as a passer. Obviously, he's very electric as a runner as well. But I've just enjoyed getting to know him as a person. You know, what his history's been, what his journey has been. You know, just his journey. You know, what has gotten him to this point. But you know, if you ask me how confident I am, I'll tell you very. You know, there's a lot of work to be done still as a group. You know, not just as a quarterback group, but as a whole offense. But yeah, the kid's a special player for sure, and a special person. I've really enjoyed getting to know him and getting a chance to coach him. I feel very lucky.
Come over here with Nick.
Yeah, Nick.
Great name.
Thank you.
You know where to go.
I like your name as well.
Thank you.
For you being a former quarterback yourself, how does that help you understand what they're going through and help you coach and inform your coaching?
I think that's a great question. You know, I certainly had some ups and downs in my career as a player. And so I think that journey for me has helped me connect with the kids that I've coached. You know, I've shared my story with them, and there will be more, you know, experiences that you share with your players to try to motivate them, connect with them, try to get the best out of them. And so I think, you know, playing quarterback at this level is a small fraternity of people, and the things that come with that, I think only a few people can fully understand what that experience is like. And I don't think, you know, no two people or no two journeys are the same, no two schools, you know, no two careers, but I think there's some similarities. Everybody goes through adversity, everybody has good moments and bad moments, and kind of how you handle those, the experiences you gain, the wisdom you learn from that. I think, you know, that's our job as coaches, to try to get the best out of the players, and I think sharing your story is certainly helpful and helps you connect with them.
Nick.
A lot of Nicks here.
A lot of Nick.
Way to go, this is awesome.
I was just going to roll as many
Yeah,
times as I
we'll
could.
let the Knicks go first.
Can you kind of talk us through your transition to Tuscaloosa and kind of what you thought when you found out that you'd be potentially the offensive coordinator?
Well, there's so much work to be done. You know, you don't have much time to really reflect on it. You just kind of get to work. You know, that's kind of that's what all coaches do. And so, as far as any reflection goes, there hasn't been much of that. You know, we've just been waking up early and staying up late and trying to build relationships with the players, but also make sure that our football is clean and fundamentally sound, and the communication between the staff, because we've had some moving pieces there. Make sure we get all on the same page before we present it to the players. So, you know, couple that with recruiting, you know, and developing those relationships with families, all grades, all areas of the country, all positions. Yeah, we certainly have been busy, but it's fun. You know, we love to do this, and so I know everybody on staff feels very fortunate, very blessed, you know, to be at Alabama.
Emily. And then Kennington.
Coach, what are the 2 biggest objectives for the offense this spring?
I think number one, to install our systems, you know, the scheme that's involved, and then number 2, to make sure that our style of play, that we're executing those plays with the right mentality and the right mindset. You know, there's certainly fundamentals involved in both of those areas, but knowing what to do and how to do it, that's really what we're focusing on this spring.
Cody. Oh, Kennington, I'm sorry. Yeah.
You go ahead, Cody. It's all good. You got it.
Noticed that Caleb Odom was working with the receivers. I was just kind of curious, one, what went into the decision to, you know, obviously the position switch, and then 2, what have you seen from him through these first few practices?
Yeah, I think with Caleb, we're just trying to, you know, put him in a position to be successful early on in his career. You know, he's a big kid. He's very athletic. He's very explosive. He's got a great frame. You know, how his body grows and what he turns into being, you know, when he's, you know, 20, 21, 22 years old. I think time will tell. He certainly runs plenty good enough to play wide receiver. He runs very well. He's a big target. And so we just try to put him in a position early on, you know, to try not to run into 275-pound people, you know. Put him in a position so he could have success. And I think there's so much versatility in our offense. You know, there's so much interpositional responsibilities where tight ends and wide receivers or running backs, everyone's being taught conceptually what we're trying to do. And so there's good teaching and learning occurring there. And just trying to utilize his strengths, put him in a position to be successful. And he's been great. You know, he comes from a great program. You know, he's accustomed to playing football at a high level. And so the moment hasn't been too big with him. He's fit right in. You know, obviously we had a chance to watch some bowl prep when we first got here. There were moments of him competing at a high level against really good competition, you know, in his time here at Alabama. And so that's really, you know, transitioned to spring. He's got a long way to go, a lot to learn, but he's eager, he's willing, likes to be coached, cares about football. So we're excited about him for sure.
Kenny?
Following on that same thing, within the tight end room, what's been your impressions of that group and how they might be utilized in the offense?
Yeah, I think, you know, that group from just a mindset standpoint has been excellent. You know, I always think that the tight end position, really their mentality and their work habits, the physicality that they play with, the effort that they play with, you know, they connect with multiple positions, right? They play in the box, they play on the perimeter, and so kind of their energy and their vibe that they, you know, bring every day to practice, it can be infectious. And I've been really pleased with that group. They're kids that love football, that want to work, they care about this place, they care about their teammates, and you know, they have an excellent coach in Brian Ellis. And so they've taken to that coaching, and I see improvement, you know, each and every day because their mindset has been so good, you know. And so top to bottom, that's been a great group. You know, how they're utilized, time will tell. You know, our job as coaches for any position, you know, is to find what they do well and let them do that as many times as possible. And our offense has so much variety and the ability to adapt. You know, time will tell what each of their roles are, but certainly there's good players in that room.
Charlie?
Just wanted to ask for your impressions of the running back room, and then also how significant is it to have a guy like Coach Gillespie back to lead those guys?
Well, I'll start with the coach. You know, I've known Coach Gillespie for, you know, a handful of years now. We worked together at Tennessee, and I thought the world of him then, and I feel the same way now, you know. And his family's great too, you know. So one of his daughters has the same birthday as I do, so there's a connection with our families there. But he's as good as it gets. You know, he's demanding with his players. He creates great relationships with his players. His track record speaks for itself, and he's been phenomenal. You know, he has great relationships with not just his room, but, you know, guys across different positions, you know, throughout the team. And so his experience here, his knowledge here, his ability for us, you know, to help us kind of connect with some of the kids has been fantastic. Not to mention he's a phenomenal football coach. So I can't think of any other, you know, I mean, he's phenomenal. So he's excellent. And in the room, kids are great, hardworking, very talented, big, strong, physical, you know, everything you would hope for, you know, in a running back room, and more than one. And so making sure that they understand all areas of our offense. You know, we're going to ask them to do different things, trying to find out what they do best, but certainly protecting the football, running the ball, pass protection, catching out of the backfield. It's a group that can do all those things.
Johnny, we got time for a few more. I'm not going to get to everybody, guys. I'm just warning you. I know.
Hey Nick, I know it's only March 8th of spring practice, but is the expectation that you will call plays come the fall?
Yes, that is the expectation, but I'd let Coach DeBoer handle that. He's trying to get me here early, so yeah, that would be the expectation.
Tony, two more.
You mentioned Jalen's character. Just how important was it to keep him as a leader, and then also to keep the offense together in terms of just keeping him and having him return?
I think it was important for us to you know, keep all the kids. I mean, certainly the quarterback, that's important. You know, the leadership that position naturally has, and the impact they have on the rest of the roster and the team, I think is super important. And obviously Jalen's presence on our team is impactful. You know, so I would say very important.
Finish up with Steven.
Having Jeremy Bernard here, Coach, his toughness, how does he fit into this room here, coming from Washington?
Yeah, we've had, you know, history with Jerm. Great kid, great family, loves football, tough, competitive. You know, excited about being here. You know, I think Jeremy is excited about being around other like-minded people that you know, care about football and want to be the very best that they can be. So, you know, him and the rest of the wide receivers have a great coach, and they're getting better each and every day. And that relationship between those groups, quarterbacks and wide receivers, is building and growing each and every day. So, yeah, we're glad he's here.
All right. Thank you.
That's not going to shake him. So he provides some size, some ability to make some 50-50 catches down the field. But again, he's a sponge out there. He's doing everything in his power to make himself successful in whatever situation we ask him to be in.
Here in the middle.
What led to your decision to follow Coach DeBoer or from Washington to Alabama?
I mean, it's Alabama. I mean, enough said. I mean, what else is there to talk about? It's the University of Alabama. Why are you guys here? It's Alabama.
Matt?
For the players who were here at Alabama last year, what have you seen be the most difficult part of installing the new system?
You know what? We pride ourselves on three different things. One, we want to be ball dominant. Two, detailed and explosive. I think these guys have the ability to really be ball dominant and explosive. It's the detail piece of it that they didn't anticipate would be at such a high level with our group. You know, with the passing attack that we had at Washington, a lot of folks just kind of almost consider us to be maybe an air raid team, but we're anything but that. We ask our guys, especially on the perimeter, to really do a lot of things in the run game. We're gonna come across and swipe block defensive ends. We expect them to really have a full grasp of what everything is required in football, and then we run a lot of different schemes in our offense. Even some of the things that you saw at Washington, we have other things that are in the playbook that come from Coach DeBoer that would allow us to scheme pretty much anything that we see. But it's just we didn't see those things while at Washington. So again, the detail at which we do things, that's what's probably been the thing that's been most daunting for our players.
Mike?
I think you mentioned you had family from Uniontown, just kind of the history of your family from this area and being Alabama fans.
You know what? I was born and raised in Indiana myself. Certainly my grandmother and all the elders in my family, they're from Uniontown, Alabama. You know what? Most of my history with Uniontown has been coming down here for family reunions and things of that nature. Tuscaloosa was a place that they used as vacation fun. This is where they came and had some fun up here in Tuscaloosa. So for me to be here at Alabama is really like a homecoming for myself and my family. Obviously they root for me wherever I'm at, but this particular place is truly special and really entrenched into the hearts of everybody that I come from. So super excited to really just continue to make them proud. I think that they'll be proud of me anyway, but I hold myself to a very high standard, and certainly I want to make everybody involved in this program proud.
Katie?
How beneficial is it to have guys like Austin and Parker and Jeremy that came over with you all that kind of know a little bit of the system already that you're trying to implement here?
You know what? There's some small little nuances that come up from time to time that you really, every once in a while, even as a coach, you kind of breeze over it, because you know what, you just got guys who've been in the room for 2 years, so they know and understand those small little details. And so to have guys like Jeremy and Austin in the building, and hey, they pulling the guys to the side and letting them know, hey, this is the expectation. But then also, Jeremy knew what the receivers were getting into. He knew. He knew that I was going to be flying around every day. He knew that I was going to push them to their limit. He knew that the expectations were going to be extremely high. And he knew that the cost of admittance was going to rise. And so he's helping these guys understand that, hey, our expectation is in the offense is that we perform at a high level.
Kurt?
Yes, Coach, I know it's just a few days, but what are your impressions of Kendrick Law?
Kendrick Law. I really want to look like him when I grow up one day. He physically is imposing as a receiver. He has easy speed, as I like to say it. He can go to 0 to 100 very rapidly without a ton of movement. He is a leader amongst leaders. That's been my biggest impression of Kendrick Law. He's got the guys showing up here at 5 o'clock in the morning to do extra work, to watch additional film, to ensure that they know what's going on in the practice. All right, but he's also pulling the group in and talking to them about the things that we need to continue to improve upon. He's done a great job of coming to me and saying, hey, coach, let me know what we need to do, and I'll make sure it gets done. And he is a leader, and leadership is about influence. It's about how you influence the other ones that are around you, and he's doing a great job of influencing the rest of the players, not just in the receiver room, but the entire team in the right way.
Time for a few more, Charlie. Did you have one, Charlie? No mic today. No, you don't. Nick, and then Nick.
Yeah, as far as having a guy like Kalen who is an offensive guy at heart and knows the offense, I mean, what is it like to be able to bounce ideas off someone like that?
Well, one of the best parts about Kalen is he actually played the receiver position, and so I love that because I know that his eyes are going to consistently go on the outside, on the perimeter. So it's great to have another set of elite eyes that can see all the little details and nuances just like I see them. We're on one accord, and so honestly, I just love working for a great human being. And of all things, we can talk about how great he knows X's and O's, how well he can design plays, and all those things. I mean, he does it at the highest level. But for us, Nick and I believe that we'd be idiots not to use him in a real way in everything that we do, because if right now we ask Coach DeBoer to coach the quarterbacks, to coach the running backs, to coach the O-line, coach anything, guess what? He'd be an expert at it, an expert. He'd be one of the best in the country. So why would we not utilize him as much as possible to ensure that the offense runs in an elite way?
Finish up with Nick Alvarez.
Okay. How does your familiarity with Tuscaloosa in the area help on just like the logistics of, you know, moving and like knowing where to eat and kind of getting accustomed to the area when you're not, you know, recruiting and coaching and all the other
No, my family's already here. You know, I've made the mistake. A lot of coaches across the country have to make those decisions. Hey, do you move your family right away, take them out of school, and try to get them there now, or do you wait until the semester's are with because of their friends and they're involved in softball, soccer, football, track, whatever it is? And you know what? It's about family. I mean, I don't coach football just because of the X's and O's. I coach it because of the family environment that I get to create. And part of that is having my players be a part of my family. So I wanted my family to be here right away. So they're here already. And they're already in track and soccer and softball, and they're doing all that stuff already and immersing themselves in the community right away. So extremely important to me to have my family here right away. I mean, I think it's monumental because it also gives me an opportunity to really focus on what's required and the expectations that you guys are going to have. And rest assured that our expectations will be higher than anything that anybody else can place on us, believe me. But ultimately, all right, we do hear you.
Coach, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.